second week of the month of January, I'm going to do a market breakdown analysis on gold, GBPUSD and EURUSD. It's the only three pairs that I have been trading now for 1 year. Yes, because the first year that I started to trade, I was not doing anything great. Yes. Okay guys, I don't have to explain to you what does mean a weekly market breakdown analysis. It's helped me to be aware of where the market could potentially move in the next coming week. Yeah, this is what I'm doing, to be aware and know my position and know where I am for this week and be prepared for the next coming week. That's why I'm doing this video, and I want to share it online with you guys. Stay up, watch my video. If you don't subscribe, click the subscribe button, like, comment and share. Drop your opinion in the comment section. Go subscribe on my YouTube channel. Let's go straight to the chart. As you can see, we are on gold time frame, weekly time frame, and obviously the market is trending massively bullish. There's nothing we can say. Our overall direction is just keep looking to buy, because Donald Trump, since last year Donald Trump became president, a lot of things have been going in the market, and investors keep buying gold because it's the only asset that they can be able to protect their money, because currency are not safe. Weekly, you can see market is strongly bullish. We have a nice breakout structure here at this zone, and you have this inducement. I was expecting maybe my price could keep pushing down and eventually mitigate this demand before we could see a continuation to the upside. There's nothing to say here. On weekly, everything is bullish, and we have a fresh demand here during this week. This is a new fresh demand, and we can potentially look into long. Yes, you can see here we have a breakout structure. We have this demand. By next week, we are looking to long inside this demand. Now we are on the daily time frame here. On the daily time frame, the market is, you see, price is massively bullish. We are strongly bullish here. You have a nice breakout structure. You have a push. You have a opposite color candle. Price push up, massive push to the downside. You have a lot of inducement here. There was a lot of liquidity here. Yeah, a lot of liquidity here. Price grab all this sales liquidity. Is an inducement to tap inside the weekly demand. Could see a continuation in price now, or we could anticipate a bearish reaction deeper inside the weekly demand. Eventually we could mitigate now daily demand, or the first daily demand. We also have the extreme one here. We have 2 PY inside the weekly one. Okay guys, now my direction for the next week is to watch how the price, as we grab inducement here, we close massively bullish like this. If a massive bullish rejection to the upside, I'm anticipating price to keep looking for long. Yes, before we can see another downtrend again. Yes, for me, because we grab a lot of stop loss from buyers here, and price may use that to push above and to push the price above eventually now to take out this weak high here. This is my views on the daily time frame. On the H4, everything was moving very well. Everything was moving so well. You have a double sweep here. Demand was in control here. Also supply take control. They were fighting here. That's why you see demand was not able to push the price. They lose strength here. Also suppliers was inside the market. That's why on Thursday and Friday, the 2 last day of the week, of the open week, market was just ranging. Eventually Friday, I don't know, a news pop-up came up yesterday from Donald Trump. He said something yesterday around 4 p.m. and market. That's why the market pushed massively like this. Grab all this extra liquidity here. Donald Trump saw something here. We grab all liquidity. We close above. We could see now a push to the continuation to the upside. Yes, at this point, because we already have a lot of order to be able to push the price to the upside, and nothing to say again. Okay, let's go to the H1 time frame. The H1 time frame, I was looking to sell here because I saw that on my own views on Friday when I woke up, my direction was to look to long, but eventually after the New York session open, I shift my perspective to bearish, because I was seeing this equal low as a sales liquidity where market could potentially target. But price push to the downside. There was a CPI on Thursday. Market pushed to the downside and failed to close below this Asian lows, sales liquidity, and price push up. On the lower time frame, N15, I look a short entry here when price took the out and very quickly, and you can see demand supply was also in control at this point. We have a nice fake break, strong liquidity grab. We have a push to the downside, create a new supply. Demand here, demand and supply was fighting at this point. There was nothing to say, and eventually push. Even on the H1, we did not close below. You can see this is a liquidity here now. This was its liquidity. It's liquidity zone here, and on the M15, nothing to say. Price is just ranging. Nothing is very clear, and nothing is very clear. Let's see how market will move on the next week. Let's see. Okay, let's go. There are one thing that I love on this pair GBPSD, because I start to understand how GBPSD move, because as you see, price mitigate this supply here. You have this supply range, weekly supply range. We're on the daily time frame here. If I go to weekly, you can see price tap into this weak supply. A weak supply also grab a lot of sell side liquidity here, buy side liquidity before they push to the downside. We mitigate the weak supply, and we have a change of character now to the downside. You can see you have this change of character, and for me, price may remain like this until we mitigate this demand. We have a demand here. Price will remain like this before until we mitigate this demand. And on the daily time frame, one price mitigate the weekly, we strongly grab all the sell side liquidity inducement in front of the weekly demand, in front of the weekly supply, and we internal shape bullish. We now the order flow is bearish now. Swing is bearish, the internal is bearish, order flow is bearish. Looking to sell is the high probability. And for me, I was looking. You can see we mitigate this daily demand first here. This opposing daily demand we push back inside this supply, this pivot supply, pivot range price push massive to the downside. And my views is the price to continue pushing down until we can be able to mitigate. We can be able to mitigate this demand below. This on the daily time frame, there is nothing to say. Everything's clear. Looking to show, because one GBPSD take a direction is just going straight. On the weekly, on the H4, H4 is clearly bullish. Everybody is saying you have a nice, we mitigate demand. You have a nice change of character, push to the outside, push back inside the supply, daily supply. You have a nice equal buy side liquidity. We push. We have a change of character, massively price remain bearish. And by next week, or price we continue to the downside, or price we pull back inside this current supply. For me, this is where I'm looking. Price we push back inside this current supply, because we are currently on the discount of the range. This red line is the equilibrium, and above is the premium of the range. Price may continue pushing there before we can see another continuation to the downside. You see, I did my prediction. Everything is clear. On the M15, I'm not on GBPSD. I'm not doing analysis on the daily. On the H1, sorry, yeah. You can see clearly we have a massive. You have a change of character in M15, because this is my medium time frame. This is where I stay most of my time. You have a break of structure, internal break of structure. Swing was bullish, swing was bearish, internal was bullish. You have a grab lot of liquidity inside the Asian range. And when we look, the previous swing was before here was a swing strong low, and this was a weak strong high. Eventually this high was more stronger because we mitigated daily supply, and we push the price until the order flow shift completely bearish, but the internal at this point now is bullish. And also we can see we grab liquidity. We may continue, price may continue to the downside like this, or we could see a reverse inside the supply before we can see another continuation to the downside. This is something that I'm expecting. There's nothing to say on this pair. We are looking to short here. Now we are on EURUSD. This is a weekly time frame, and we can see we grab a inducement. We swept a high, we grab its buy side liquidity inside the previous weekly supply. If I drag it to the left, to the right, we can see we swept lot of liquidity here above. So lot of liquidity was sitting here. Price grab it more than 2 times. You can see a lot of rejection, buy loose trend to push the price. So seller came in the market to push the price, and we are currently inside this demand, the weekly demand. And this demand did not achieve anything great, because I'm viewing this demand as price we create a reaction here. maybe like this before continue to the downside, or price could just keep going down before pulling back up, something like that. Yeah, for the next coming week, I'm expecting a price to play a reaction, a bullish reaction to the upside. Yes, this weekly time frame on the daily time frame now, order flow is clearly bearish. There's nothing to say. Let's zoom. Daily time frame, we have a supply from the left, daily supply. You have an inducement in front of the daily supply, grab liquidity, change your character, push back. You have a strong sweep. And since then, price remain bearish. Price can continue bearish until we mitigate the demand. You have a demand here, daily demand, a nice reaction demand, pull back inside the current demand supply, opposing supply, and massive rejection. Seller push the price. As soon as price mitigate this daily supply price pull, seller kick in to push the price down, and yes, we continue to remain bearish and until now. And I'm looking this demand as demand to supply flip, because now this supply is massively in control at this point. And for me, I will just looking at this here. For me, I'm expecting price to push back here and before continue to the downside, clearly for me. Or the second scenario, price could remain bearish until we mitigate here for next week. For the next week, this is two scenario that I'm looking, because price we are strongly bearish. Overall, we are looking to sell, to continue selling, because EURUSD and GBP they are almost moving the same direction. They are correlated, and the H4 was still bearish also, clearly. H4 was clearly bearish, and H4 was clearly bearish. We can see the order flow mitigated demand, reaction inside the supply, change your character. Supply was still in control. They keep pushing the price down. We even mitigate a weak the H4 demand from the left. This is what caused the reaction inside the current supply. Because here was a supply, price pulled back inside the supply and massively pushed to the downside. This was a announcement from Donald Trump that moved the market massively like this. I took a buy yesterday on EURUSD eventually, and price went to give me like 1 to 2.2 and pull back to my entry point. You can see, and my direction on EURUSD now, as soon as price close below, rejected here 2 times, I'm expecting price to pull back inside this here. Then we can see a reaction here before we can see a pullback inside here before we could continue to the downside. Or the second scenario is that the price action is still remain bearish, we could see a continuation inside this demand before we can see a pullback. This is what I'm expecting, a continuation inside this demand, because you have a strong demand from the left. If you look on the left, you will see a demand here, and price may pull back here, continue to the downside until we check this demand before we can see a reverse now inside the daily demand, the daily supply above here. Looking at the M15, this was the short that I took here, the buy I took yesterday, and we mitigate this demand, the H4 demand. You have a change of character here. You have a lot of buy sell liquidity here, internal range sell liquidity, internal shape bullish. You have a new fresh PY. Inducement. This was not the best trade for me. It was a medium probability, and me, I was targeting. I know before I took this trade, I know exactly where I want to target, but the target I was targeting this, at least this M15 supply inside the H4 supply above. You can see here I placed my entry as we have inducement here. I took my entry on the M5 and I was targeting this range, but I told myself that as soon as price will tap inside the supply, we could see a reverse. Once the price closed above here and I saw that we are about to hit to mitigate the H4 supply, I just break even. I did not, because this thing already happened to me many times. Once price mitigate a strong zone area of value, price will reverse massively and take me out. Then instead, what should I do? I just break even, and better as go out without loss. Yes, I prefer then price take me out here. I put my break even here, and this was how I took an entry, massive push to the downside. Okay guys, this is everything for this week. Thank you so much. Like, comment and share, subscribe. Let's see in the next video at the end of the next week. See you.